Good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Excuse me. I have to start with an apology. When I do the bulletins, I really try to make the affirmation and these quotes applicable to what the topic is. But last Sunday, I had the thought that the topic of that day, acceptance, is really what all of this is about. So I didn't change the title. It says acceptance, but the title is supposed to be tithing. If you look at your quotes, you see they're about tithing. But it really is about that very first quote. What are you waiting for to put God first? A lot of times, now first of all, let me... Yeah, me too.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
You need some more?
No.
Need more?
No.
A lot of times, first of all, I've never, now I finished my ministerial training 34 years ago. I have never talked on tithing before. And I almost made the topic be that dirty word. Because there's a visceral response to tithing in a lot of people. I don't know about you, but I've experienced the churches where they didn't get enough the first time and they pass the bowl around again. And they say, we want a silent tithe, silent offering, which means we don't want your change. You gotta put bills in there. I don't know if you've experienced that, but I have.
Right.
And so there's a feeling of being coerced or forced that goes with the concept of tithing. Now when we say offering, that seems more open. It seems like, oh, whatever, a nickel will do, send a prayer. But when you say tithe, it has that sense of obligation. Why is that? We have on our money in God we trust, but do we? There's a feeling of being constricted when I have to give 10%. Well, how much is sales tax? What do you pay the government? We don't necessarily enjoy dealing with the IRS, but we know that's a part of life and we're going to do it. We don't even think about sales tax. We have different levels of sales tax and we pay all different things. And it's just part of what you add on to what your transaction is. Because you know that that's how the government keeps going. How we have police and fire and all those things that we want to have. Now, tithing began as part of the old Hebrew system in which the Levites, who were a class that was only the priests, received the burnt offerings, the guilt offerings, all of the different offerings. There were 5, I believe. And of the peace offerings and of the Thanksgiving offerings, they received that meat that was consecrated in the offering as how they ate. Because they were just doing the church work. The Hebrew Israelites were to give 10% of the first fruits, the very best of everything. If your cow had kittens, if your cow had cows, you gave your best cow. If you had a big harvest, you gave your best grain. You didn't get to the end and say, well, that's enough, and keep all the good stuff for yourself. Because there was a recognition that there wouldn't be here if it were not for God. You know, when you think about it, everything is God. I'm going to, my sister's not here today, so I can talk about her. You know how you are when you're little. You get mad. I'm going to roll away. My mother said, fine. Have a good life. She was very calm. So my sister started packing. Mama said, no, I want that. She was going to make a sandwich. Go with her on the road. I bought that food. You can take anything that's yours. But that's not yours. I bought that. Now, that was good psychology because obviously my sister did not run away. But when you think about it, that's kind of the situation we're in. All of this abundance is God. The air, the leaves on the trees, the blades of grass that you always hear talking about as being so abundant. Your thoughts, your ideas, that little mind that's running through your head right now, that never stops even when you're sleeping. Your memories, the things you've read. Think about how many things you have experienced in your life abundantly. Yeah, we can say there have been abundant challenges too, but you're a better person for them. You got to be who you are now because of them. So even that abundance was a blessing. Where did those things come from? Who do you think is really in charge of this universe? When you think about the negative, and you can personify it any way you want, think about how much good comes out of those things. We've just seen the hurricane and all the flooding and such. And you remember the flooding that was happening right here. Didn't that bring out the best in some people? Didn't some people rally to lend a hand to people they didn't know? Weren't there some healing of breaches because people had to work together? The destruction of things meant that things were also rebuilt. More substance was poured into this area to help rebuild and repair. Whether it was prayers, lumber, clothes, whatever, the whole country poured their love in different levels to fix what was apparently destroyed. So even in that vast destruction, and the one that we just saw, good comes out. Now nature, of course, is the first thing that I think of when I think of abundance. But when I look at people, we're like little packages of universe. Each one of us is a little universe, you know? And it's all in there. Everything's happening in there. There's blood cells running around, making sure there's oxygen in in the little mitochondria in every cell, you know? There's fluids going up and down and washing this and making sure that's nourished. The little cells on our skin are dividing and multiplying to make sure that everything is fresh and supple and working. We've got a whole universe packaged in our bodies. There is abundance everywhere you look. Now sure, there are different places that we would like to have more abundance. That's true for all of us because we were made with desire. We are made to desire. We are made to look for better and more. That's our nature. It's not a bad thing to want more or to be better or want to know more or have more or experience more. But we still have to remember, where does your good come from? We work hard, yeah, okay. But that doesn't create your good. That's a channel for your good. You're expecting a multi-million-dollar inheritance. That's a channel, yeah. That's a channel for your good. We always say expect the unexpected, right? Okay, you're gonna win the lotto. Where do the numbers come from? We actually did have someone in our home church in Chicago win the lotto. Yeah. You say if it can happen to anyone, it can happen to you. Nothing is too good to happen, right? You're just as deserving as the next person. So you keep your mind open to receive. And it's a good thing. Keep your heart open. Know that you are blessed beyond measure and that you will get what you need, when you need it, in the way you need it. Might not be the way you thought it would come, but what you really need will be there. Where does that come from? Do you say thank you when you receive all these things? When you wake up in the morning, do you say thank you for another day? Do you feel gratitude that there's this abundant sky filled with oxygen? We don't live in a big city, so that we don't have to worry about a lot of lead and stuff. And we've got the breeze to wash it away, anything that's in there. That abundant pollen. I mean, there's abundance everywhere you look. And we can be grateful for it. But how much better if we express that gratitude? If we express that awareness of the abundance of good that we receive. Now, the concept of tenth, as we said, was started back when the Israelites were running around in the desert. And to our minds, it seems like, oh, an awful lot. And we also say tithe of time, talent, and treasure. Not or treasure, and treasure. Does that sound like a lot? But think about it. You're given 24 hours in every day, just like everybody else. Couldn't you give 2.4 hours to doing your spiritual work? Couldn't you give 2.4 hours of 24 to pray for someone? To send a blessing to someone? To sit in a spiritual understanding of who and what we are. It doesn't have to be all in one point. I'm not saying you have to sit there for 2 hours. But if you're constantly looking out with a loving heart, with gratitude, being aware of our oneness, when you watch the news, can you bless everybody in this election season? Yeah. That's spiritual work. When you see somebody on the street acting crazy, that's my word for it. You can fill in the blank. Do you send them a blessing and look at them and know that they are a child of God, just like you, on the path, learning, growing, perhaps not where you are, but just as valuable, just as beloved? When you think about your bills, can you bless them and give thanks that somebody trusted you enough and knew you would have the prosperity to pay them back for that electricity or water or whatever it is? Somebody believed in your future abundance. So a bill is a blessing. Think about it. It's really not hard. If you really think about it, everywhere you look, there's a gift. Everywhere you look, there's a blessing. Think about all the people who love you. I don't mean just us, because I know we love each other. But there are people you have never met who look at you and there she goes. You guys count too. People love you that you don't know about. People respect you that you don't know. You may never meet them. You are a blessing just being who you are. Why not be more of it? So if you think about it, what you put your time, treasure, and talent into is an investment. If you take a time to do your spiritual work, that's an investment, not only in you, but in the planet. It makes a difference what you feel. It makes a difference if you're praying. It makes a difference if you're sending out blessings. You remember early in Adam and Eve wasn't even there, right? Adam was sent to name the animals, and what he called them, that's what they were. Name means nature. So if I name you as good, I'm augmenting my energy toward that in you. If I take time to pray for you, my spiritual energy is going in your direction. Sometimes you've felt it when somebody was praying for you, haven't you? You've known that somebody was giving you some of that good stuff. So that's an investment, but it also heals you. When you do that for others, this whole world, it's unity. You get it back. What they say, you can't throw mud on somebody without it getting on you. Well, you can't throw out that blessing without that coming back to you. And just like an investment, if you value this place, your money goes to work to make it happen. We often do things on a love offering basis because we're not saying you got to pay your dues. Oh, you didn't match that. You owe us blah, 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 blah. It's not like that. And that's one reason ministers avoid talking about tithes, because we don't want to give that impression. But just as if you were planting seeds in your garden, I grow gourds, okay? And some of them have little bitty seeds, some have great big seeds. And sometimes you can tell what it's going to be by the seed, sometimes you can't. But I get the best looking seeds, and that's what I plant. And then I tend that garden and reap the rewards of that. Now I've seen beautiful necklaces made of just the seeds. I could get them and make something out of the seeds and sell. But then I wouldn't have any gourds for next year. I have to invest that, I have to plant that to have that harvest. Now I'm not saying that you must give to Unity Church of Shreveport. You give to the source of your spiritual food. If you have another church you go to, you can tithe to there. We appreciate your tithes here, but I'm not talking to you, begging you to give money here. I'm asking you to recognize where you are spiritually fed, where you receive the nurturing of your spirit. Sometimes that's a person. A person may bless you. You may be in a situation where you needed a certain message or a certain favor, and you might decide to tithe to them. You might have something that you may listen to a program on television or the internet or whatever, and you may decide to tithe to them. All of that is good practices, because this is not about us raising money. It's about you realizing that the good of God is flow. And you got to be a channel. And to be a channel, you got to be open. You got to keep it moving. If your hand is holding on to what you got, how can you receive more? You got to open that hand to receive. If I'm like this, I can't get any hugs. I can't grasp any good. I'm shut off. That's why when I saw acceptance listed instead of tithing, I said, well, how apropos? Because the point is to flow, to let your good manifest as you flow with it. It comes in, you experience it, and you let it flow out in appropriate ways. When we accept that God truly is all there is, and that it's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, why do we have to hold on? Why do we have to hoard? God is giving. God is an action. And we can receive, as the lesson was saying, as much as we can accept. A lot of times we think that this is all I have. It's not much. I better hold on to it. What are you accepting in that instance? You're accepting a future lack. And remember, you're creative individuals. The universe says yes. So that's your belief. Yes. But if you say, I am really grateful for this place and the people that I'm meeting, the lessons that I'm learning, the information that's available, and you let it go. You invest that part of your existence, more comes. All of you have had the experience of a check comes out of nowhere after you give to someone. I had a check come from Good Shepherd saying that I had paid for some procedure that I don't even remember twice, just as I needed it. My bank account was $16, and I was glad for that check. But it came after I gave to someone. Now, yeah, you could say, well, that check was coming anyway, and da-da-da-da. But the universe works through everything. We can't decide, oh, this is God and this is not. It's all God. And if you have a need, God has many ways, unlimited ways to fill it. Whether it's finding a 20 in your jeans that you forgot, meeting someone who said, you know, I owe you this money, and I didn't forget. Or something out of the blue that comes in the mail. You don't know how it's going to come. And it really doesn't matter. It's all God. And when you acknowledge that God is first in your life, that God is your foundation, is your sustenance, your substance, your everything, then it flows that much faster. That's all it takes, acceptance. And when you realize that this is the truth of your being, this force that will never leave, this force that holds everything up, cares about you individually, 7 billion people, and is taking care of you as a person. How can you be anything but gratitude? How can you feel anything but nurtured and loved? Now, is that going to stop if you don't tithe? No. But you will have closed one of the channels. Because we tithe because we accept that God is all there is, and that the substance of God has been given, and that it is flowing. That's why we say, and so it is. Because as spiritual beings, our attitudes make a difference. You know what it said in a man's heart, and so it is with him. So if I live in a world where I've got to scratch and scrape for every penny, the universe says yes. So it is. If I live in a world where the abundance of God is everywhere, and everywhere I go I get smiles and hugs and meet wonderful people, so it is. So it may be with you. Blessings.